Quran Unfolded.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حاميم تنزيل من الرحمن الرحيم كتاب فصلت آياته قرآنا عربيا لقوم يعلمون.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome again to the Signs of the Day of Judgment. We have with us again Dr. Al-Habash. And the last time, I think this is now episode 4. And we talked in episode 3, we finished off by talking about some of the minor signs leading into the major signs. So we touched briefly on about the Mehdi and about Isa alayhi salam. So today, Dr. Al-Habash is going to be maybe covering the signs of Mehdi, what he's going to do, and his role basically on the earth when he comes, and then maybe going a little bit into Isa alayhi salam. That's entirely up to Dr. Al-Habash. So again, inshallah, welcome to the show and hope you enjoy it, inshallah. Inshallah, Dr. Al-Habash.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله ومن والاه. The last time we were talking about the minor signs, and we mentioned that the minor signs can repeat. And the different hadith narrated from the Prophet ﷺ did not make a chronological order of these events, that this will happen and that happen. However, there are some guidelines that will give us a kind of clue or hint how to reorganize the minor signs and the major signs to at least give some approximate or a kind of close to what will happen, inshallah. Although some differences of opinion between what's the chronological order of the different events, but still it is a human being work.
No.
So we come back to the guidelines. The Prophet ﷺ, he was talking with one of the companions. His name is Ibn Hawala. And he was putting his hand on the top of his head and telling him, يا ابن حوالة إذا نزلت الخلافة في بيت المقدس فانتظر الزلازل والبلابل والأمور العظام. Or Ibn Hawala, if the headquarter of the Muslim Caliphate will turn into Jerusalem, then expect earthquakes, expect tribulations, expect great matters. So we can say that when the Caliphate moved to Jerusalem, the Islamic Caliphate moves to Jerusalem, then we expect something that we are coming near to the last hour. There's some other hadith. I mentioned, in fact, last time about that you will conquer the Arabia, you will conquer Persia, you will conquer Rome, then you will fight with Dajjal. So this is putting some order, conquering Arabia first, then Persia, then Rome, then Dajjal will come.
No.
Now there is another hadith that is also making a link. The first one is coming into Jerusalem. And the hadith says, عمران بيت المقدس خراب يثرب. The nourishment of Jerusalem is the ruin of Yathrib. Yathrib is Medina.
No.
وخراب المدينة الملحمة الكبرى. The ruin of Medina will lead to the great battle. The great battle will lead to Dajjal. The Dajjal, uh, uh, just before Dajjal, it will lead to conquest of Constantinople.
No.
The conquest of Constantinople will lead to Dajjal. Then after Dajjal, the coming of Isa alayhi salam. So there's a kind of a link showing some chronologically. Between them, there could be some other events happening. However, this will be a guideline telling us how to interpolate the different events. So Jerusalem is not nourishing at the moment. Medina is not a home for caliphate at the moment.
So first is going to be, the caliphate will be first.
Yes, caliphate will come into Jerusalem.
Okay.
And apparently Medina, the ruining of Medina, they are not necessarily ruining destruction, but it will become less important as the caliphate is moving towards Jerusalem.
No.
Apparently there could be caliphate around this time, in Medina perhaps, then moving to Jerusalem. And that will bring us to something to contemplate about the appearance of Mehdi.
No.
The Mehdi is from the descendants of the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's from Quraysh, and he will come from the eastern part of the Arabia. He will come to Medina. Then people will cooperate with him. However, still they are not sure that he is Mehdi. Then he will announce himself that he is Mehdi. However, still people are suspecting whether he is true Mehdi or not true Mehdi. Because it happened, in fact, in the past.
Yes.
About 40 years ago, there was somebody who claimed that he is Mehdi. Now what will happen? An army from the side of Sham will be coming to destroy Mehdi. And that is led by somebody called Sufyani. However, before reaching Medina, before reaching the place where Mehdi is, some kind of collapse will happen in the earth. Some sliding will happen, and the army will be swallowed.
Sorry, the army is coming to attack who?
Mehdi.
Mehdi.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it's
Anti-Mehdi, you can say.
yeah, okay.
Or
Unrighteous.
somebody claiming that he's Khalifa,
Yes.
and somebody else who doesn't like to have Khalifa, or they want themselves to be Khalifa.
Yeah.
So they are coming towards him. So something happened to his troops, and they sink.
Yeah.
Now this gives a sign to the people around Mehdi that he is the real Mehdi. So they will give him allegiance near Kaaba.
No.
Now the Mahdi is being flagged as the real Mahdi now, and people are behind him. There is another army will come against him, and led by somebody called Kalbi.
Kalbi.
Al-Kalbi, yes.
Kalbi's. Anyway, we won't go into that one.
So Al-Kalbi, there will be some other Muslim troops. They call them the holders of black flags. So those one will confront the Kalbi and his troops, and they will conquer them. So now Mahdi is settled as the new Khalifa. It could be that Mahdi will come to Medina, establish Caliphate there, then after that he will move to Jerusalem. So once he moves to Jerusalem, then this is a sign of nourishment of Jerusalem and ruining of Medina. So people will be immigrating from Medina, joining the Caliphate.
Yes. But yeah, maybe not ruining.
Not ruining in the terms of destruction,
Yeah.
as I said before,
Yes.
but at least
In his status going down.
it will go down in status. So this is the start of the reign of Mahdi. He will have his caliphate headquarters in Jerusalem. Now we'll come back to the point of that link, saying that conquest of Arabia, conquest of Persia, conquest of Rome, then the conquest of Dajjal. Now the two different opinions, and both are valid, that this conquest already happened. Arabia is Muslim place, Persia is under Islam, and Rome, of course, Syria or Sham was under Rome before, so there was a conquest of Rome before.
No.
However, the other opinions say that, since these are already happened a long time ago, and these are minor signs, so they could happen again. And in fact, in the history, there are many, especially in the great events that happened during the time of Saladin, during the time of the Mongols who invaded the Muslim countries.
Yes.
There was some internal battles. And the purpose of these battles is to unite the Muslims, to make a strong core of Muslims, to confront these invaders. So from that lesson from the history, we can say, yes, it could be that Al-Mahdi wants to make a strong core of Muslim countries, invade the Arabia, making under his reign, invade Persia, making also under the same caliphate, invade Sham or Rome and make it under the caliphate. So the caliphate is expanding again and becoming stronger. So this will prepare them for the great battle.
You said Sham, what?
Sham, Syria, Palestine, Jordan, northern part of Iraq.
That's all Sham.
That's all Sham.
Okay.
Sham is coming from the left side.
Right.
And this is how the people in the Arabia used to say Yemen, this means the right hand, Yemen, and Sham, the left hand.
Okay.
Yeah. And you will find these in the Kaaba, Rukn al-Yamani, towards
Yes.
Yemen,
Yes.
and the other ones towards Sham.
Yep.
So the conquest of these, or the event of the conquest of Arabia, Persia, and Rome could be achieved by Mahdi. The major achievement of Mahdi is making the caliphate and moving the center of caliphate in Jerusalem. Now the issue, how is that going to happen? Having the caliphate in Jerusalem. But Jerusalem now is not under the Muslims.
No.
So it's not just fighting of Persia and Rome and Arabia, but there is a need to fight the occupiers of Jerusalem now. How is that going to happen? We have the other hadith talking about the fighting between Muslim and the Jews. And the Prophet ﷺ is telling us that the last hour will not happen before a fight between Muslims and Jews. And the Muslims will defeat the Jews. And the Jews will be trying to hide, even behind the stones and the trees, but that will not avail them any safety. The trees and the stones will be saying, look, Muslim, there is some Jew behind me.
Yes.
Come.
And that is because, as we believe as Muslim, Allah gave everything a mode of speech.
Yes.
When you say that to some Muslims, they say, the stone and the trees is speaking. They say, oh, you're crazy. But yeah, we believe that Allah gave everything a mode of speech.
Yeah. So we can say, not necessarily 100% true, but it could be the achievement of uniting the Muslim countries, as the hadith says. Could be happening by Mehdi, or could be somebody before Mehdi. We're not sure. But that will happen, that there's a core Muslim country, a strong one, that can stand in international battle. It's called the Great Battle, where it is between Muslims and the anti-Muslims.
That's not the Armageddon we're talking about.
Again, there are some difference opinion between whether this is the Armageddon, Armageddon or a different one. Yeah. It could be before that one.
Yeah.
Armageddon also has roots in the Bible. They are talking about it. However, in the Bible version, it says it is happening in Palestine. It is between the non-Muslim, they call them themselves the good people, and the evil people.
Which is supposed to be the Muslims.
Could be. So it is different than the Great Battle, the one before that. It could be a smaller one, because we have the Great Battle when the West will come under so many flags, very numerous army against the Muslims. They will be defeated by Mehdi. Now another battle will happen, that there will be some Jews together with Dajjal.
No.
And Dajjal will be killed by the Messiah. So perhaps this one is closer to the version in the Bible, that the Messiah himself will be fighting the Antichrist, Dajjal, and the Jews with him. And in fact, in the Old Testament, it is not the Old Testament, I'm not sure whether the Old Testament or the Talmud, the interpretation of the Old Testament, that the Antichrist will be fighting against the Jews. Most of the Jews will be killed in that one. However, Dajjal will be killed as well, and the Messiah will declare the kingdom of the Lord on the earth.
Isa alayhi salam.
Yeah. So we continue with Mehdi. So Mehdi is a kind of doing some major things. However, because the Mehdi has been repeating, I mean, many people claim to be Mehdi, and apparently only once Isa will be declared as Jesus. Nobody else will say that I'm Jesus. So that's why Jesus is a major sign, and Mehdi is a minor sign, although they coexisted at the same time. Now, so these links, the caliphate is coming in Jerusalem. It requires some battles to clear Jerusalem from the occupiers and to make it the headquarters of the Muslim caliphate. So there must be battles between Muslims under the leadership of Mehdi and the occupiers of Jerusalem before making it as a center of the Islamic Ummah, of Islamic power.
Can I just, I want you to just keep that in mind, because I don't want you to lose your train of thought or anything. But in relation to, like, we can see what's going on now in Palestine, and it's been going on over nearly 2 years now, and it's been stepped up now, the assault on the people of Gaza. How is that in relation to what we're talking about? Nobody knows when these times will come that you're talking about, these sort of the Mehdi or when Isa alayhi salam, Jesus will come. And I'm not asking you to estimate here, but I'm just saying in relation to what's happening in Gaza right now, basically can't get any worse.
Yeah.
It can't get any worse than it's happening right now. So it's almost as if you're hoping and praying for some kind of divine intervention to save the people of Gaza.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, if we think in other hadith as well, that this one of the signs of the last hour is uh, the happening of the killing. I mean, there's a lot of killing happening. Uh, to the extent that the one who is killing doesn't know why is he killing,
Subhanallah.
and the one who is killed, he doesn't know why is he killed. What we see in Gaza, in fact, something very similar to that. Why they are killing the children, for instance, and women and so on. And the same for a child. Why is he killed?
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
And there's an ayah in
Yeah.
Quran for that.
During the Jahiliyyah, before Islam, I mean,
Yes.
before Islam, they used to bury alive the little
The female
infants, yeah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not ignore that, although it wasn't experienced by all the Arabs or the before Islam people. But it is something heinous that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that in the Quran. When that infant that was buried alive will be questioned, why was she killed?
So although it's related to that time, it's universal.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be a sign, it could be what's happening in Gaza is a sign of that, the last hour, or before the last hour. Or could be something that repeats. It happened before in Baghdad during the invasion of the Mongols.
Yes.
It was the Middle East. Millions of Muslims were killed, even more than what's happening in Gaza. However, there is something related to Gaza. Gaza is in the surrounding of Jerusalem. And there is a mention of hadith that's talking about a solid group of believers who will be standing until the last hour. لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق ظاهرين لا يضرهم من خذلهم أو خالفهم حتى يأتي أمر الله وهم على ذلك. There will be a group of my servants standing for truth. They are not harmed by those who are going against them or having difference with them, nor those who betrayed them. And they will continue on that until the command of Allah comes, which is the last hour. There is another hadith that is prescribing the area of Gaza, in fact, not just around. In that hadith, the Muslims asked the Prophet ﷺ, where are those people?
No.
So he said that in Bayt al-Maqdis, وَأَكْنَافِ Bayt al-Maqdis, Jerusalem and around it.
No.
Now this didn't mention Gaza, but Gaza is around Bayt al-Maqdis. However, there's hadith which is coming closer to Gaza. The Prophet ﷺ said, خَيْرُ الرِّبَاطِ عَسْقَلَانِ. The best of confronting or steadfast or stand against the enemies of the belief of the Muslims is in Asqalan. Asqalan is 10 kilometers away from Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Gaza, by the way, was under the province which is called Asqalan. Before Asqalan is captured by the Israelis.
Mm-hmm.
It's not part of Gaza. So it is captured.
Mm-hmm.
And Gaza, before being captured, I mean, a long time ago, from the hundreds of years before, that area, including Gaza, was called Asqalan. Yeah. So Ribat Asqalan is something mentioned in the Hadith of Prophet ﷺ, that people will be standing, fighting, guarding against the enemies. Maybe this could be something. I mean, zooming further towards Jerusalem and the area around Jerusalem, and Asqalan in particular, which is almost Gaza.
كتاب فصلت آياته قرآنا عربيا لقوم يعلمون